Hello everyone. Let's learn the chapter Winds, Storms and Cyclones. This is Nishita Anjaria. Let us understand how air exerts pressure. For this, let us do an activity. Take a tin can, fill it with hot water. Then pour some cold water over the hot can. As fresh water is poured over the hot can, the steam in the can condenses and converts into the water. This results in reducing the amount of air that is present in water. The pressure of air outside the can becomes more than the pressure of air inside the can. This results in compressing of the can. Therefore, it is proved that air exerts pressure. So, the continuous physical force exerted on an object or against an object when something comes in contact with it is called pressure. So, air exerts pressure in different ways under different situations and on all objects and in all directions. Air pressure helps the leaves of trees, banners or flags to flutter when the wind is blowing. It even causes the tires and balloons to inflate. Next, let us understand how high-speed winds are accompanied by reduced air pressure. For this, let us do an activity. Take a bottle, cover its mouth with a paper ball. Now, when we blow into the mouth of the bottle, the air near the mouth has higher speed. This decreases the pressure there. The air pressure inside the bottle is higher than near the mouth. The air inside the bottle pushes the ball out. Air moves from the region where the air pressure is high to the region where the pressure is low. The greater the difference in pressure, the faster the air moves. Another property of air is air expands on heating. When the air is heated, it expands. As a result, it occupies more space and becomes lighter in weight. Therefore, we can say that warm air is light in weight and cold air is heavy. Now, can you explain why smoke always rises up? Yes, it is important to remember that on heating, the air expands and occupies more space. When the same thing occupies more space, it becomes lighter. So, the warm air is therefore lighter than the cold air. That is the reason that the smoke goes up. In nature, there are several situations where warm air rises at a place. The air pressure at that place is lowered. The cold air from the surrounding areas rushes in to fill its place. This sets up convection in air. Now let's find out how wind currents are generated. Now these wind currents are generated due to uneven heating on the earth. It could be, let us take the first situation, uneven heating between the equator and the poles. Now regions close to the equator get maximum heat from the sun, and as a result the air in these regions get warm. The warm air rises and the cooler air from the region, that is about 0 to 30 degrees latitude belt, on either side of the equator move in. These winds blow from the north and the south towards the equator. At the poles, the air is colder than that at latitudes about 60 degrees. The warm air at these latitudes rises up and the cold wind from the polar regions rushes in to take its place. In this way, wind circulation is set up from the poles to the warmer latitudes. The winds would have flown in the north-south direction from north to south or from south to north. A change in direction is however caused by the rotation of the earth. The second situation is the uneven heating of land and water. In summer, near the equator, the land warms up faster and most of the time the temperature of the land is higher than that of the water in the oceans. The air over the land gets heated and rises. This causes the winds to flow from the oceans towards the land. These are monsoon winds. In winter, the direction of the wind flow gets reversed. It flows from the land to the ocean. The winds from the oceans carry water and bring rain. It is a part of the water cycle. The monsoon winds carry water and it rains. However, it is not always a happy ending. Rains often create problems. In nature itself, there are certain situations that can sometimes create disasters and pose threat to humans, animals and plant life. So let us study two situations. The first one is thunderstorm. Thunderstorms develop in hot, humid, tropical areas like India very frequently. The rising temperatures produce strong upward rising winds. These winds carry water droplets upwards where they freeze and fall down again. The swift movement of the falling water droplets along with the rising air create lightning and sound. It is this event that we call a thunderstorm. If a storm is accompanied by lightning, we must take the following precautions. Do not take shelter under an isolated tree. If you are in a forest, take shelter under a small tree. Do not lie on the ground. Do not take the shelter under an umbrella with a metallic end. Do not sit near a window. Open garages, storage sheds, metal sheds are not safe places to take shelter. A car or a bus is a safe place to take shelter. If you are in water, get out and go inside a building. Next, let us understand how a thunderstorm turns into a cyclone. You know that water requires heat when it changes from liquid to vapor state. Before cloud formation, water takes up heat from the atmosphere to change into vapor. When water vapor changes back to liquid form as raindrops, this heat is released to the atmosphere. The heat released to the atmosphere warms the air around. The air tends to rise and causes a drop in pressure. More air rushes to the center of the storm. This cycle is repeated. The chain of events ends with the formation of very low pressure system with very high speed winds revolving around it. It is this weather condition that we call a cyclone. Factors like wind speed, wind direction, temperature and humidity contribute to the development of cyclones. Cyclones can be very destructive. Strong winds push water towards the shore even if the storm is hundreds of kilometers away. These are the first indications of an approaching cyclone. The low pressure in the eye lifts water surface in the center. The rising water may be as high as 3 to 12 meters. It appears like a water wall moving towards the shore. As a result, the sea water enters the low-lying coastal areas, causing severe loss of life and property. It also reduces the fertility of the soil. High-speed winds accompanying a cyclone can damage houses, telephones, and other communication systems, trees, etc., causing tremendous loss of life and property. A cyclone is known by different names in different parts of the world. It is called a hurricane in the American continent. In Philippines and Japan, it is called a typhoon. After the cyclone, we have the tornado. The diameter of a tornado can be as small as a meter and as large as a kilometer or even wider. The funnel of a tornado sucks dust, debris and everything near it at the base due to low pressure and throws them out near the top. In our country, they are not very frequent. A tornado is a dark funnel-shaped cloud that reaches from the sky to the ground. Most of the tornadoes are weak. A violent tornado can travel at speeds of about 300 km per hour. Tornado may form within cyclones. The whole coastline of India is vulnerable in cyclones, particularly the east coast. The west coast of India is less vulnerable to cyclonic storms, both in terms of intensity and frequency of the cyclone. Some effective and safety measures to protect the people from cyclone are: a cyclone forecast and warning service should be available, rapid communication of warnings to the government agencies, the ports, fishermen, ships and to the general public, construction of cyclone shelters in the cyclone prone areas and administrative arrangements for moving people fast to safer places. Some action on the part of the people should be: we should not ignore the warnings issued by the meteorological department through TV, radio or newspapers. We should make necessary arrangements to shift the essential household goods, domestic animals and vehicles, etc. to safer places. Avoid driving on the roads through standing water, as floods may have damaged the roads, and keep ready the phone numbers of all emergency services like police, fire brigade and medical centers. And some other precautions if you are staying in a cyclone hit area. Then do not drink water that could be contaminated. Always store drinking water for emergencies. Do not touch wet switches and fallen power lines. Do not go out just for the sake of fun. Do not pressurize the rescue force by making undue demands. Cooperate and help your neighbors and friends. Let us see how this advanced technology has helped us in dealing with the natural calamities. The world today is very different. Thanks to satellites and radars, a cyclone alert or cyclone watch is issued 48 hours in advance of any expected storm, and a cyclone warning is issued 24 hours in advance. The message is broadcast every hour or half hour when a cyclone is nearer the coast. Several national and international organizations cooperate to monitor the cyclone-related disasters. Thank you, children. Hope you have understood the chapter very well. See you in the next class.